happened here is an extraordinary and unprecedented act of violence.
A peaceful country shaken by a vicious terrorist attack, 49 dead, gunned down as they gathered for prayers in 2 New Zealand mosques. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kenny Choi.
And I'm Michelle Griego. The shooter wore a camera as he gunned down his victims, but KPIX 5 will not be showing this footage. Reporter Gwen Baumgardner walks us through the deadliest mass shooting in New Zealand's modern history.
The shooter wore a camera as he charged into a New Zealand mosque, gunning down dozens of worshippers gathered for Friday prayers.
The blood is spitting on me, splashing on me, and I'm thinking, oh my God, oh my God.
Streaming live on Facebook, 28-year-old Brenton Tarrant returns to his car, grabbing a rifle before heading back to the mosque in the city of Christchurch, where the killing continues.
Could hear screaming and crying, and I saw some people were, drop dead.
People frantically ran to safety while medics rushed others away on stretchers. Many remain in critical condition.
I'm 66 and never thought in my life I'd live to see something like this, not in New Zealand.
An attack at a second mosque in the city killed at least 7 people. Police aren't saying if Tarrant was the shooter in that case. Authorities arrested the 28-year-old Australian and charged him with murder. They also took 2 other armed suspects into custody and are trying to determine if they were involved. Tarrant reportedly posted a 74-page racist manifesto online, calling himself a fascist who wants to ensure the existence of our people and a future for white children. He says today's killings are revenge for an ISIS-inspired terror attack in Sweden 2 years ago.
This is a place where people should feel secure and will feel secure. I am not going to let this change New Zealand's profile. None of us should.
The Prime Minister called this one of New Zealand's darkest days. This is the deadliest mass shooting in the country's history. Gwen Baumgardner, CBS News.
The last mass shooting in New Zealand was more than 20 years ago, and nothing on this scale. In 1997, 6 people were killed. 3 years before that, 5 people died in the second deadliest shooting. Between New Zealand's mass shooting yesterday and its last one in 1997, the U.S. has had at least 90 mass shootings.
I'm Makovec, live in South San Francisco this afternoon at one of many mosques around the Bay Area, where they're expecting a huge turnout for today's afternoon prayer. People coming together to pray for those lost in the New Zealand massacre.
We're obviously horrified by this act of violence and hate.
Ahmad Rafiki is with the Bay Area chapter of the Council on America-Islamic Relations, which, upon hearing of the massacre, sent this guide on safety and security in places of worship to local mosques.
There are mosques that continue to be bombarded with hate mail, sometimes firebombed. And we've seen this very recently in the attacks even on the 2 new Muslim congresswomen in the United States. So this really hits home, close to home for all of us.
The San Francisco Police Department tweeted that their officers will be making extra passing calls of San Francisco mosques, saying, "We work stronger as a team." The South San Francisco PD said on Facebook they encourage local residents to remain comfortable as they go to local places of worship, and said they'll make sure those attending remain feeling safe. Rafiki says there have been several threats against local mosques in the past year, and he has advice for all people of the Islamic faith.
People who do go to worship are on high positional and situational awareness, that they know who's coming into the mosque, and to check in on their family and friends.
And when we asked, the Oakland police said that they are also doing extra passes, extra patrols around town near mosques in the light of this tragedy. And here in South San Francisco, they have private security patrolling the parking lot. One security guard just asked us what we were doing here today. The afternoon prayer here starts at 1:30 p.m. Live in South San Francisco, Ann Makovec, KPIX 5.
And thank you. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi tweeting out, quote, "We mourn the loss of 49 lives cut short in the horrific act of violence in Christchurch, New Zealand. Islamophobia and such acts of pure hatred have no place in a civilized world." Bay Area Congressman Eric Swalwell had this to say, saying, "America stands with our Kiwi friends as they mourn the Christchurch attack. Extreme right-wing, race-motivated violence is on the rise across the globe. To credibly condemn it everywhere, we must lead by example and scrub it from America. Hate has no place."